If you're over 60, there's a silent enemy living inside your body right now. You can't pinch it, you can't see it in the mirror, and yet it's quietly releasing hundreds of toxic chemicals into your bloodstream every single day. It is called visceral fat, the deep fat that wraps itself around your organs like a tight belt. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but I'm not overweight, so I'm fine. Unfortunately, that's what makes visceral fat so sneaky. You can look relatively slim on the outside and still carry a dangerous amount inside your belly. Harvard scientists recently discovered that this fat releases more than 400 harmful compounds daily, chemicals that can inflame your liver, harden your arteries, and disrupt your hormones without you even knowing it. Imagine your organs being slowly squeezed by an invisible hand. That's what visceral fat does. It sits deep inside your abdomen, pressing on your heart, your liver, and even your intestines, interfering with how they function. Over time, it triggers a chain reaction, from high blood pressure and insulin resistance to fatigue and brain fog. No wonder doctors call it the silent killer. But here's the part I love telling my patients. This kind of fat, while dangerous, is also surprisingly responsive. Once you send the right biological signals, it begins to melt faster than almost any other fat in the body. And the best part? You don't need to punish yourself with crazy workouts or starve through some impossible diet. The science is much simpler and kinder than that. A team at Harvard Medical School followed more than 1,800 people between the ages of 60 and 75. Their mission was simple. Find out how to shrink visceral fat safely without extreme dieting or exhausting exercise. What they found was nothing short of astonishing. Within just 30 days, participants who followed a specific 5-step protocol reduced their visceral fat by up to 73%. 73? That's not a typo. The results were so dramatic that the researchers had to triple-check their measurements. When the final scans came in, they couldn't believe what they were seeing. Here's what was even more exciting. Many of those participants were people who had struggled for years to lose belly fat. Yet once they applied these 5 natural strategies, their metabolism woke up as if someone had flipped a switch. They slept better, felt more energetic, and even noticed their blood pressure dropping. One small shift after another began to ripple through their entire system. Dr. Samuel Kleine from Washington University calculated that losing just 5% of visceral fat could add about 7 years to your life expectancy. Think about that for a moment. 7 extra years just from reducing the pressure around your organs. Isn't that incredible? And here's a twist that surprises most people. After 60, your body can actually become more responsive to certain metabolic triggers. Yes, age can be an advantage when you use it the right way. So let us start with the first of those 5 powerful steps that turned ordinary seniors into walking proof that it's never too late to change your body. You've heard it before. Eat more protein. But what most people don't realize is when you eat that protein matters just as much as how much. After 60, your body's relationship with protein completely changes. Miss the right timing, and instead of burning fat, your body might actually start storing more of it. A landmark study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed older adults for 6 months. It found that those who consumed 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal, not per day, lost 23% more visceral fat than those who ate the same total amount but spread it unevenly. So, having toast in the morning, a light salad for lunch, and then a huge dinner? That's the worst combination for your metabolism. Let's make this practical. Picture your metabolism like a campfire. If you throw a big log on at night but let the fire smolder all day, it never really burns efficiently. But if you feed it small, steady logs throughout the day, the flame stays strong. That's exactly how protein works in your body after 60. Each time you eat about 30 grams, roughly the size of your palm in chicken, fish, or tofu, your body flips a switch called muscle protein synthesis. That process not only preserves your muscle tissue, but forces your body to burn fat, especially visceral fat, for fuel. Every pound of muscle you keep burns around 50 calories a day, even when you're sitting on the couch. Fat tissue, on the other hand, burns only 2. Morning protein is absolutely essential. After fasting overnight, your cortisol levels are naturally higher. That is the stress hormone that tells your body to store belly fat. But when you start your day with protein, say eggs, Greek yogurt, or a smoothie with quality protein powder, you instantly neutralize that signal. You tell your body, it's okay, we've got fuel, no need to store fat. Dr. Douglas Padden-Jones from the University of Texas found that older adults who distributed protein evenly across meals increased their resting metabolic rate by 14%. That means more calories burned just existing, even while watching TV. If planning feels overwhelming, here's a simple trick. Make protein your priority at every meal. Prepare batches of chicken, boiled eggs, or lentils on Sunday, so you never run out of quick options. When you build your meals around protein first, your body follows a natural rhythm of fat burning that runs like clockwork. And remember, this isn't about restriction, it's about rhythm. When you treat your metabolism like a fire that needs steady fuel, you stop feeling like you're battling your body, and instead, you start working with it. Now let's talk about something that sounds strange at first, but stay with me. What if I told you that a little bit of cold could be your secret weapon against belly fat? No, I'm not asking you to jump into an ice bath or move to Alaska. Just a gentle drop in temperature can awaken something extraordinary inside your body. See, you actually have 2 types of fat. White fat, well, that's the kind we all dread, stores energy. But brown fat burns energy. It's like a mini furnace built into your body, converting stored fat into heat. The trick is learning how to turn it on again. A fascinating study from MRI University found that people over 60 who exposed themselves to mild cold, just 2 hours a day at 66 degrees Fahrenheit, increased brown fat activity by 45% and reduced visceral fat by 19% in only 4 weeks. No dieting, no extra exercise, just a cooler room. Here's why it works. As we age, brown fat becomes sluggish, like a sleeping dragon. But the moment you expose your body to gentle cold, it wakes up and starts burning white fat for energy. And it prefers to attack visceral fat first. That's right, the fat around your organs becomes its favorite fuel. Try this. In the evening, lower your thermostat to 66 degrees for a couple of hours while you watch TV or read. Wear light clothing, maybe just a sweater. Your body will start working behind the scenes to stay warm, torching calories in the process. Another simple trick, end your warm shower with 30 seconds of cooler water. Not freezing, just enough to make you take a deeper breath. This small change can keep your brown fat active for up to 4 hours afterward. In fact, participants who combined cool showers with evening temperature drops lost 31% more visceral fat than those who did only one of the two. You can even boost the effect during the day. Drink a glass of cold water every couple of hours. Your body burns calories just warming it up to your internal temperature. Japanese researchers found that this tiny habit alone can burn around 100 extra calories daily. Start slowly. Begin with 15 minutes in a slightly cooler room and build up over 2 weeks. You'll notice something fascinating. Not only do you start sleeping better, but your mood improves too. Why? Because mild cold triggers endorphins, your body's natural feel-good hormones. Who knew that turning down the heat could turn up your vitality? Let's move to another powerful strategy, one that's not about what you eat, but when. You've probably heard of intermittent fasting, but the version I'm about to share isn't about skipping meals or starving yourself. It is about aligning your eating window with your body's natural rhythm, a rhythm that becomes even more important after 60. Researchers at the Salk Institute studied over 500 adults between 60 and 78 years old. They discovered that those who limited their meals to an 8 to 10 hour window, say between 9 in the morning and 7 in the evening, lost 47% more visceral fat than those who ate the same foods spread throughout the day. Why does this work so well? Because when you give your body time to rest from constant digestion, it switches from burning sugar to burning fat. During the fasting period, your body begins cleaning up damaged cells through a process called autophagy, a kind of internal housekeeping that targets unhealthy fat cells around your organs first. Think of it like closing your kitchen for the night. When the lights go out, the cleaning crew comes in. They sweep away waste, scrub the counters, and reset everything for the next day. That is what your body does when you stop eating for a while. It finally has time to clean. The sweet spot seems to be finishing your last meal at least 3 hours before bed. That gives your body time to digest before you fall asleep and allows your growth hormone, the one that mobilizes fat while preserving muscle, to peak naturally during deep sleep. Dr. Sachin Panda, the lead researcher, found that people who followed this simple schedule improved their metabolic health, lowered blood sugar, and woke up feeling lighter, not because they starved, but because their bodies finally had balance. Now, if you're new to this, don't jump straight to a 10-hour window. Start with 12 hours. For example, breakfast at 8 and dinner by 8. Then shorten it by 30 minutes each week until you find what feels natural. Remember, stress can backfire and increase visceral fat, so take it slow. During your eating hours, focus on 3 satisfying meals with protein and healthy fats, and avoid constant snacking. Snacking keeps your insulin levels elevated, which blocks fat burning. Instead, give your body space to rest between meals. You'll be surprised at how your hunger signals recalibrate. You stop feeling controlled by food, and your energy becomes more stable than ever. And here's the small tip from my own patients. Have your main meal at lunchtime instead of dinner. It aligns with your natural circadian rhythm, giving your digestive system time to finish its work before nightfall. You'll sleep better, digest better, and your belly will quietly thank you. Now, let's move from timing and temperature to something much deeper, your gut. Most people think belly fat comes from calories, sugar, or lack of movement. But new research shows that the real battle happens in your intestines. Your gut bacteria are the silent engineers of your metabolism, and after 60, they can either work for you or against you. A remarkable study from Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center found that every 10 grams of soluble fiber eaten daily reduced visceral fat by nearly 4% over 5 years. But when participants combined that fiber with prebiotics, foods that feed your good gut bacteria, their results more than doubled in just 3 months. Isn't that incredible? Think of soluble fiber as a sponge that soaks up sugar and slows down digestion. It forms a gel inside your stomach, calming your blood sugar and stopping those sharp insulin spikes that tell your body to store fat. Instead, your metabolism stays balanced, and your body begins to burn fat instead of hoarding it. But the story doesn't end there. When that fiber reaches your colon, it becomes food for special bacteria that produce something magical, short-chain fatty acids like butyrate. These little molecules act like messengers, traveling through your bloodstream and whispering to your fat cells, "Hey, release that energy. It's time to burn." The study found that people with higher levels of butyrate-producing bacteria had 51% less visceral fat than those without. Imagine that, half the belly fat just by feeding the right microbes. So, where do you get this fat-fighting fiber? Sure, oats and beans are great, but the real champion is a plant called konjac root, also known as glucomannan. Just 3 grams before meals cut visceral fat by 12% in 8 weeks. You can find it as a supplement or in shirataki noodles at most grocery stores. Another excellent source is freshly ground flaxseed. 2 tablespoons a day can reduce visceral fat by 9%. But it must be ground, not whole, because that's how your body unlocks its beneficial oils and lignans. Sprinkle it on your yogurt or blend it into a morning smoothie for an easy win. Timing again makes a big difference. When you take soluble fiber along with protein, the fat-burning effect increases by 40%. So a simple plan could look like this. 1 tablespoon of flaxseed in your morning shake, glucomannan before lunch, and a serving of beans at dinner. 3 small waves of fat-burning activity that keep your metabolism humming all day long. And don't forget the prebiotics. Those are the foods that feed your good bacteria. Garlic, onions, and Jerusalem artichokes are the superstars here. In the same study, participants who ate just 1 artichoke or 2 cloves of garlic per day increased their fat-burning bacteria by 27% in only 2 weeks. It's like reprogramming your gut from the inside out. Each bite sends a signal saying, let's build health instead of storage. And the best part? You don't have to change your entire diet. Just add these small, smart foods at the right moments, and your belly will start responding naturally. So, if you've ever felt like your metabolism slowed down with age, maybe it didn't slow down at all. Maybe it just needed the right bacteria to wake it back up. Now get ready for something truly surprising, because this next method doesn't involve food, exercise, or even movement. It's about breathing. Yes, breathing. Simple, intentional breathing that can directly trigger your body to burn visceral fat. Researchers at the University of Copenhagen recently found that activating a small nerve running from your brain through your chest, the vagus nerve, can cause fat cells to release their stored energy. And the easiest way to activate it? Controlled breathing. In their study of almost 900 adults aged 60 to 79, participants practiced a breathing technique for just 15 minutes, twice a day. They didn't change their diet or exercise routine, yet they lost 42% more visceral fat than the control group. No supplements, no workouts, just breathing. Here's how it works. You breathe in through your nose for 4 counts, hold it for 7 counts, and exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 counts. But there's one crucial detail. 1 hand on your chest, 1 on your belly. Only the belly should move. That's diaphragmatic breathing, and it directly stimulates the vagus nerve. Think of it like flipping a switch between your body's fight or flight mode and its rest and repair mode. When the vagus nerve is active, cortisol, your main stress hormone, drops dramatically. And as you know, high cortisol is one of the biggest drivers of visceral fat, especially after 60. In the study, doing this exercise right after waking up lowered cortisol by 37% within 15 minutes. It's like telling your body, we're safe, you can stop storing fat now. The second session is best done between 3 and 5 in the afternoon. That's when cortisol naturally spikes again. Doing your breathing then prevents the afternoon fat storage cycle that many older adults experience, especially when stress or fatigue hits. Now imagine this. You're sitting quietly, maybe in your favorite chair, eyes closed, counting your breath. 4, 7, 8. Slowly, your heartbeat steadies, your shoulders relax, your body warms slightly. Inside, your metabolism shifts gears, turning on the internal mechanisms that release deep abdominal fat. After 2 weeks, participants said they could actually feel their bodies entering this calm, focused state within the first few breaths. Over time, their insulin sensitivity improved by 23%, inflammation dropped by 31%, and they slept more soundly. It's such a simple thing, yet profoundly powerful. And here's my favorite part. It costs nothing. No gym, no equipment, no complicated plans, just you, your breath, and 15 quiet minutes to reset your nervous system and ignite your body's natural ability to heal. So if you ever feel that your belly is holding on to stress, not just fat, now you know why. It's not just what's on your plate, it's what's on your mind. And breathing, my friend, might just be the most underrated form of medicine you have. Now imagine combining all these techniques: protein timing, gentle cold exposure, time-restricted eating, soluble fiber, and controlled breathing. What happens then? That's exactly what researchers tested next. And the results were stunning. Participants who practiced all 5 strategies together lost an average of 4 inches from their waistline in just 30 days. But the real surprise came when researchers scanned their abdominal fat. Almost all of it, nearly 90%, came from the visceral layer, not the superficial one. That's the dangerous fat that strangles your organs. It wasn't just about smaller genes. Blood sugar stabilized, blood pressure dropped, sleep improved, inflammation markers went down. People didn't just look healthier, they were healthier. One woman in her 70s said she hadn't felt that light and energetic since her 40s. Now, what's interesting is that none of these methods alone are extreme. No calorie counting, no starvation, no 6-mile runs. Each one simply nudges your body back to its natural rhythm, helping your metabolism do what it was always meant to do. When you time your protein correctly, you tell your muscles to wake up. When you cool your body gently, you turn fat into fuel. When you eat within your natural clock, you let your hormones balance themselves. When you feed your gut the right fibers, you train it to burn fat, not store it. And when you breathe with awareness, you turn off the stress switch that keeps you inflamed and tired. Each one supports the others, like instruments in an orchestra playing in harmony. Alone, they sound pleasant. Together, they create a symphony of renewal. And here us tell us the truth I always tell my patients: transformation doesn't come from doing one thing perfectly. It comes from doing a few small things consistently. Every breath, every glass of water, every mindful meal becomes a quiet message to your body. I am ready to heal. So where do you begin? Not by overhauling your life. Start small, start gentle. Maybe tomorrow morning you begin your day with that 4, 7, 8. Breathing. You take a deep inhale through your nose, feel your belly rise, and let the tension melt away. That alone will set your hormones on the right track before breakfast. Then you make sure breakfast includes real protein, maybe scrambled eggs or Greek yogurt with flaxseed. Around midday, take a brisk walk or sip a glass of cold water. In the evening, dim the lights, cool your room slightly, and finish dinner a little earlier. None of this is extreme. It's about giving your body permission to do what it already knows how to do: balance, repair, and renew. Within weeks, you'll notice small changes. You'll sleep more deeply. Your energy will feel steadier. Your clothes might fit differently. But the biggest shift will happen inside. Your organs will finally have space to breathe again, freed from that invisible pressure of visceral fat. Science has made one thing very clear: your body is always listening. Every meal, every breath, every quiet decision sends it instructions. And when those instructions are loving, calm, and consistent, the results can feel miraculous. Age isn't the problem, disconnection is. When we lose touch with our body's rhythm, our fat, hormones, and digestion all fall out of sync. These 5 evidence-based strategies are simply ways of bringing yourself back in tune. So I invite you to choose one to start with this week. Master it, then add another. Give your body 30 days, just 30, and watch what happens. You may not only lose inches from your waist, but gain something far more precious: trust in your body's wisdom again. If you found these insights helpful, share them with someone you love. Sometimes a simple conversation about health can spark real change. And of course, subscribe if you like more doctor-backed guidance like this, because we were here every week helping you feel strong, confident, and vibrant at any age. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. Small, gentle steps, repeated daily, can transform your health more profoundly than any extreme measure ever could. Your 60s, 70s, and even 80s can be powerful, energetic years when you give your body the care it deserves. So breathe deeply, eat mindfully, stay curious, and never forget, your body hasn't stopped working for you. It's simply waiting for the right signals to begin again.